key in this game is, can Miami stop the run? Because the only games we've lost, and people may lose sight of this that don't watch a lot of North Carolina football, because Sam Howell and the wide receivers get the attention, that they've got two tremendous running backs in Javonte Williams and Michael Carter. We've lost the only games we've lost, we didn't run the ball well. So, of course, there's a matchup to talk about.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that Miami's defense is predicated on stopping the run and getting on field. I mean, I know it's foundational to football. You run the ball on one side and stop it on the other, obviously, but you have to, make that happen. And that does set up so much for the North Carolina offense by being able to run the ball a little bit, or a lot of it, because they do have, some very good athletes on that roster. So, yeah, Miami does need to be concerted in their effort to stop the run. The other side of that, though, is, you're going to let Sam Howell throw the ball. And what Phil Longo, their offensive coordinator, is very good at doing is scheming up basically one-on-ones from it looks like a recruiting camp out there for their wide receivers. I mean, because it's really one-on-one, man-to-man coverages, because you bring guys down, and things like that, and the way that they scheme it up. And he's able to hit those throws. Howell's good. He's had 80 something touchdowns almost in 2 years. Because he had 38 as a freshman. He has 30 something. So he's probably in the 70s for career touchdowns by now. Or close to it, upper 60s. I want to say at least. That's a lot of touchdowns in 2 years for a kid. Who's he played as a true freshman, obviously, and everything. So making the quarterback beat you in theory works. When you're talking about buddy from Duke class, Chase Bryce, cool. He was a 4-star kid, coming out of Grayson, but he was in the same class as Hunter Johnson at Clemson. And he was the year before Sunshine Lawrence. He was never going to play a real meaningful snap there. Okay, he played in that one game when Sunshine got knocked out, but he was never going to be the guy. You know what I mean? So it's different because, you have a quarterback of a higher caliber. So, yeah, stopping the run is important, but it's going to be – that's something where I think that Miami can scheme it up, and they will be consistent with that in their scheming and their effort. And I think that, going forward to the run, and we have a lot of guys in the front seven who like to play the run. Obviously, Bradley Jennings, I know I've made some, statements about his performance level because I don't think that was where it needed to be. And I mean, he made a play last week that, whoo, boy, it was, if you remember the one time that John Lynch got a tunnel shot on Barry Sanders, because he would always talk about he could never get Barry Sanders clean. And they're playing in Tampa. Again, I'm from Detroit. I'm a Lions fan. Yeah, make fun of me. But they're going and they're running to the right, and they funneled it. And John Lynch came down in that hole and smacked Barry Sanders that one good time. And everybody's like, whoa, what? Because Barry Sanders always, every year, made him look stupid. And he was so happy about that play. That's what that reminded me of with Bradley Jennings. Because it opened up on that left side of the offensive line for Duke. And he just strafed over and then, bye out. So I think that, obviously he loves playing the run. You've got these other guys in Miami who love to play the run, and that's going to be great. Miami's a little thin in the defensive secondary. And I know that we have guys who are stepping up. Corey Couch is playing really well. You got Isaiah Dunson as a freshman. You have Marcus Clark, who had his first career interception last week. You do have a trio of safeties, Gervin Hall, Bubba Bolden, who's finally looking like Bubba Bolden again, Amari Carter. You got guys in the back end, but especially at cornerback, maybe not the kind of talent or performance that we would want to see. And they're going to, North Carolina is going to stress that and test that very strongly. And I say that, and DJ Ivey as well. I do want to stop. I was remiss, and I did forget to mention prayers and thoughts for a healthy recovery for L. Blaze Jr. During COVID testing, they did a blood test, and they found that he has myocarditis, which is inflammation of the heart muscle. So he's actually going to be out for this year. He's going to go 3 months of treatment and hopefully be back on the field for Miami next year. So let that be a thing. Obviously you have a scholarship athlete, a young person in his 20s, and that is a secondary effect of being associated around coronavirus and things like that. So please take this seriously, and please, Al, we want him to get healthy, want him to get strong. That is the main thing. But as I was running down the cornerbacks, that came to my brain. So I did write about that. That news did come out the other day. There was a little bit of contention with a journalist from a local newspaper about letting that news out before and things like that. You can go look at on social media, because they were very clear, Al Blades Jr. and this individual going back and forth about that. But regardless of what was said and everything, we do want to wish him well and a safe recovery. But if you were looking for me to say, okay, Al Blades is one of the cornerbacks, why are you not mentioning that as in terms of this game? That's why not. And I do apologize for not mentioning that off the top of the show tonight.